and good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. If you don't know me, my name is Jade. I do the weather, and I'm subbing in for Jen while she's on vacation. And today we are here with our lovely friends, Josh Winters and Maddie Alwyn. And we are going to get some really fun and interesting stuff right after this message.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work now.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And as I said, we're here with our lovely friends. Are you guys able to introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you that haven't watched one of our shows, we come on every month. My name is Maddie Alwyn. I work for Jackson County OSU Extension here, and I am the 4-H Youth Development Extension Educator.
And my name is Josh Winters. I'm an astronaut for NASA. Just kidding. My name is Josh Winters, and I'm the Agriculture and Natural Resources Educator here in Jackson County.
It almost looks like you're an astronaut.
I should be.
And if you would have came in here and I didn't know any previous information, you were just like, yeah, I'm an astronaut, I would be like, fully believe you,
it would
honestly.
Work, yeah.
But I'm going to ask you a question first, since you just introduced yourself. What are some of the key oh my goodness, I can never pronounce that ever. That's like the one word I can never pronounce. Agricultural projects you're working on right now?
Yeah, so there's a lot going on in agriculture right now, even though people know it's the winter time, so there's not much growing out anywhere right now. But we've got a lot of stuff going on. Say we're working with pesticides. I know last time we were here, we were talking about pesticide recertification. That's like my whole winter. We do it from January, February, March. Seems like it never ends. But we actually just got done with a Quicken workshop over in Ross County. And that Quicken workshop teaches farmers how to use that Quicken software to do their record keeping and apply it towards their farm. So Quicken is a software kind of more for personal finances, but you can make it and edit it more for farmers. So it's something to show them at the beginning of the year so they can get comfortable with it and decide if they want to use it. Yeah. And they're actually able to use it throughout the whole year if they like it. I know 2 out of the 3 farmers that were there last night said, yeah, they're definitely switching to it just because it makes things so much easier, especially during tax season.
Definitely. And I'm just gonna go down the list. I'm just gonna ask you some questions and ask you some questions, and then we can get to the fun stuff too. Okay. But how does OSU Extension help local farmers and agricultural community?
Yeah, so I always like to show Extension as the free university here for Ohio State. So you don't necessarily need to go to Ohio State. You don't need to pay the tuition to interact with Extension. Extension's for everyone that lives in the state of Ohio. So my job is to go up to Ohio State, get all the new farming practices, get all that science, all that data that they do up there, and break it down and kind of make it into more tolerable language, easier to digest. So I go review a lot of data and then bring it back and show what's new and what has and what hasn't changed. There's some things that have changed in the last 2 years. There's some things that haven't changed for 30 years. So it's kind of digesting that information, bringing that information. That's all that research being done at the university and bringing it to Jackson County.
Yeah. What resources does the Extension offer to help new and experienced farmers?
Yeah, so a lot of new farmers, they come to me just getting that basic information. There's a lot of people who didn't come from a farming background, so they come to the Extension office and say, I've bought this land, now what do I do with it? And that's one of the most fun questions to answer because it's not really I'm not telling them what to do with it. It's kind of exploring what do you want to do with it. So whether you want to raise livestock, raise vegetables, raise crops, kind of deciding what you want to do and then starting giving you options of what you can do. So the steps. First step would be probably getting a soil sample, seeing if you can do a lot of that stuff because there's a lot of ground where we have a lot of good farming ground, but then there's a lot of ground that needs a lot of work done to it. There's a lot of fields that have been in hay for so long and they haven't had a touch of fertilizer in it for 20 years, where it's going to take a long time for it just to revitalize that soil. So just working with those farmers, being able to interact with them, building those relationships and like I said, not giving them the answers, but giving them the options that they can use.
How can people get involved in, hold on, be patient with me, everyone, agricultural projects through OSU Extensions?
Yeah, all you have to do is come down to the extension office. I know one of the big and exciting ones, and this one's more for those experienced farmers, but we have a thing called e-fields, e-barns, and e-plus. And what those are, they are big documents, they're a big book, they're publications we send out every single year, and it's a bunch of research that's done throughout the whole state of Ohio. So it's not research that we do just on our research station, it's actually on-farm research. So in Jackson County, say I'm getting really comfortable in my role now, so I've been here for just about over 2 years. So that's one thing that I'm really challenging myself to do this year is to get out on farm and start doing those research. So say you wanted to run a field on a certain fertilizer standpoint, and then you want to run one that has less and see what the difference is. So kind of doing that research and just coming up with a question, finding the answer, creating that, scientific method, and then finding out the results. And then hopefully being in one of those publications that they send out through statewide. So having some representation from Jackson County to the whole state.
What are some exciting developments and changes in agriculture you've seen recently?
So the biggest thing in ag right now that I would say is probably AI. So just like everything under the whole world, AI is changing, and it's changing really quick. I saw a video just last year of tractors driving themselves and watching them move, and they go in their whole rotation, and it's super cool. Like they just let them go out, leave them, come back, check on them. They're still doing their job. So just AI is moving super quick, and it's just super exciting, but it's also a little scary because
Yes, definitely.
how much is it going to be able to do? So those are the big changes that are happening in agriculture.
And I always ask this question to all my guests. What is some advice you would give to your younger self when you first started doing this?
Yeah, I would say just keep saying yes, because that's what I kept doing. And anytime someone asks me something, I say, yeah, let's try it. And we keep trying it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you don't know unless you try. So just keep saying yes and try not to overload your schedule too much, but just keep saying yes.
Yes. Okay. Maddie.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean
No.
to seem like I left you behind.
It's fine.
But I'm going to questionnaire you now.
Okay,
What are some of
rapid
the-
fire, right? Like you put Josh on the hot seat. Now I'm a little nervous.
What are some of the most popular 4-H programs available in local youth?
So 4-H is a huge program, and I don't think people realize just how massive and wide and far-reaching 4-H can be. So we have over 220 4-H projects that kids can choose from. Anything from like the livestock that you see at the county fair to welding, woodworking. I took scrapbooking when I was a kid. Food and cooking and nutrition, healthy living, gardening. I mean, canning and freezing. Just anything that you can think of. There is a 4-H project for it. And then if you're like my little brother, when he was in 4-H, he couldn't find a project that he liked, and so he made up his own.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you can make up your own project if there's something that you're super interested in and really kind of want to dive deeper into. So I would say most popular 4-H projects in Jackson County are probably, I feel like we have a lot of goats at the fair. Like goats seem to be really popular.
People love animals.
Yeah, market rabbits and market poultry seem to be very popular too on the livestock end. When it comes to non-livestock projects, I don't know, probably gardening or something kind of related to like natural resources. Like the fishing projects are usually really popular, outdoor education, that sort of stuff. And then one of our most popular programs in Jackson County 4-H is actually summer camp. So for those of you that don't know, Canner's Cave 4-H camp is located right here in Jackson County. So there are 14 4-H camps across the state.
Wow.
And so some kids in 4-H have to drive, hours and hours to go to 4-H summer camp. And we don't. We drive, 20 minutes down the road. So we're super blessed to have Canner's Cave in our community. And I would say camping is probably one of our major programs in our county just because we are so close to camp. We do a lot of programs out there. Our kids feel super connected to camp. So I would say those are our most popular ones.
And how many camp counselors do we have this year?
We have 30,
Whoa.
35, 35 camp counselors this year. So we're super excited. They're a great group of kids. So.
Do you have a personal favorite program that you do?
Oh,
I know you've already stated a lot, but
Yeah, I mean, I would say camping was probably the thing that when I was a kid in 4-H that really solidified it for me. But I just love working with my teens. My teens are super great. Every single one of them are just great, amazing, outstanding kids. So I love working with the junior fair board, our camp counselors, our junior leaders, our youth reps on our livestock committees. Our teens are just super great kids.
Yeah. And oh my goodness, being a camp counselor, I've been a camp counselor before for a 4-H project that I did. It is no joke. Some of those kids, I was in the part where it was like kindergarten to first grade.
Oh, okay.
They are a rambunctious group of children. But how does 4-H help young people develop leadership and life skills?
So I kind of pose it in the aspect of there are activity skills and then there are life skills and learned skills. So an activity skill might be learning to show a goat or learning to fish or doing that actual tangible skill, right? But then there's always a life skill that you can learn behind that. So with our livestock projects, kids are learning responsibility, right? They're learning to take care of another living thing, right? They're learning that thing relies on them, right? They're learning about food and nutrition and caring for that animal. Just all of those really important aspects of those projects.
Yeah.
When it comes to non-livestock projects, right, they're learning about whatever that skill is that they're exploring, whether it's gardening or healthy living or leadership, money management, all of those things, right? But then they're also kind of learning those life skills behind it too. All of our kids have to complete a project book and an interview. And so they're learning those interview skills, personal communication, social skills. A lot of them are learning personal responsibility because our program mostly takes place over the summer when school is out. Oftentimes those kiddos do not want to fill out their project books when they're off of school, right? So they're learning to kind of prioritize their time and that self-responsibility of filling out that project book, doing their poster board or shoebox display or whatever it is that they put together to bring to project book judging. And then, of course, completing that project, taking care of that animal, whatever it is that they're doing. But yeah, that's.
When you have new students and new kids that come in, do you ever have like a little shy group of kids that you see like come out of their shell and it's so nice to see?
Yeah, absolutely. I think 4-H is one of those programs that really brings kids out of their shell.
And I'm so glad.
So most of our kids are involved in a club-based model. So we have 21 4-H clubs in our county. They meet all across the county, and they're comprised of youth of all ages and project types and everything in between. And so you might have a kid that starts out in that 4-H club that is just, beginning. They're kind of nervous. They're not really into it yet, but they sit right next to a kid that's been doing it for 8-9 years that is kind of like a mentor to them. So that role modeling kind of model of 4-H is what brings kids out of their shell and teaches them those skills.
What kinds of hands-on experiences can kids expect in 4-H?
All of them.
All of them.
So 4-H's motto or slogan, I guess, is learn by doing. And so 4-H, kids in schools, right, they learn by learning, right? They learn by listening to their teacher, filling out the worksheets, reading the books, studying, that sort of thing. In 4-H, you learn by doing, getting that hands-on experience. And one thing I tell people all the time is 4-H teaches kids how to fail. So it's not always all the time about winning. It's learning how to do better. What did you learn from your failures, and what can we do differently next time? And so that hands-on skills is really important. We do a lot of clinics, a lot of educational workshops, a lot of just adult volunteers working with kids and giving them those tips. Older 4-H kids working with younger ones, giving them those tips that they have learned as well. So yeah, it's a lot of just hands-on, getting them the resources that they need, community partnerships that they might need to learn those life skills as well.
It's really nice because a lot of kids are more visual and physical learners.
Yes.
So I feel like 4-H is a great opportunity for them to learn like life skills and all that stuff. I feel like it's great. And like as a kid, when I wasn't a counselor, I was just a kid there as a camper. I was able to learn so quickly and gain so many friends. It's such a friendly, nice place to be.
Awesome.
And how can parents and kids get involved in 4-H if they're interested?
Yeah, if they're interested. So I had sent you guys a flyer for my 4-H open house. I don't know if you have that ready to pull up or not. It's a beautiful green flyer. So my 4-H open house takes place in March. And at that event, it's like March 6th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the fairgrounds. And that event is a really great event if you are interested in getting started in 4-H. So you can attend anytime, in that span. No, it should say open house on it. Probably.
You're going to have projects and you're going to have animals at your open house.
Yeah, it's a super great event. Let me send this to you guys really quick so we can get it kind of pulled up on there. There you go. So the open house, I put this on every year since I've started in this position. So this will be the third open house that we've done. And every project area has a table. And so you kind of go around to each project area, learn about the different projects. Usually our clubs that are recruiting kids to join their club have a table. There's usually animals there that you can pet and cuddle with, snacks, games, just all kinds of really, really great stuff. So if a family is interested in joining 4-H or just kind of learning more, I would really recommend coming to the open house and just kind of peeking your head in and seeing what 4-H is about. That flyer will go home with every elementary student in the county. So if you have a kiddo in elementary school thinking about getting them involved in something like 4-H, be on the lookout for that flyer, hopefully sometime later this month. So,
and even if you're not interested in joining 4-H, just come out and have fun. That's what the day's for. It's just come out, give you something to do on Thursday night.
Yeah. It's kind of like a little carnival. There's games, there's prizes, there's snacks and food. Yeah. Yep.
Do you have a success story or like a funny story? Any like memorable moments, anything like that from 4-H? Like one that specifically stands out of all of them?
Oh man. I don't know. 4-H has just been such an impactful program on my life. And I could sit here and take up the whole show and talk about my 4-H experience and what 4-H meant to me as a kid and as a young adult. But I would say since I've been in this county, something that has really just kind of, it took me aback. Like I paused for a second and thought, wow, that's really cool. Oh, there's my open house flyer.
Oh, that's so cute.
So screenshot that if you're watching. Come to the open house. That'll be a super great event. And then hopefully if you get your kiddo involved in 4-H, they'll turn out to be a kid like this that I'm going to talk about. So last year, what I do normally every year about this time is I start going into the schools and I tell all the kids about my open house. I tell them about 4-H. We usually sing camp songs and it's just a super fun time. I usually visit them during lunch and just talk to them about 4-H. And normally I'm able to bring some of my teens into the schools with me and they get to talk to the kids about 4-H. But last year, it just didn't work out that any of the teens were able to visit with me to some of the schools. So instead, when I got there, several of my 4-H kids that are in elementary school, I mean, these are 3rd, 4th, 5th graders, would run up to me and be like, oh, Miss Maddie, like, what are you doing here? I'm here to talk about 4-H. And I asked them, I figured they would say no, but I always ask, do you want to tell your friends about what you do in 4-H and why you like 4-H? And these 3rd, 4th, 5th graders said yes. And they stood up in front of their whole school on a microphone and talked about what projects they take in 4-H, what their favorite thing is about 4-H, what they've learned, why their friends should join as, 8, 9, 10-year-olds.
That is amazing.
And that's so cool. And I think that's the beauty of 4-H and what the 4-H program teaches kids.
Yes.
Because again, it's not about winning. It's not about, getting the first place trophy or anything like that. It's about what do you take away from the program afterwards. And those kids will take away the ability to command a room, to public speak, to share their voice with others. And I think that is just really, really cool.
And as I was talking to Josh about it, what advice would you give your younger self when you started?
My younger self, I don't know, just take it day by day. There are good days and there are not so good days, and just have the good days outweigh the not so good days, because you'll get to see the beauty in what you're doing, right? With those little kids that just impressed me so much, right? By getting on that microphone and talking to their peers about a program that they love, right? Or watching my teens be successful in leading their own meetings, or solving problems by themselves at camp when, something happens. So just a really cool, just to be able to take it day by day and appreciate those little things in between.
And I understand that you guys wanted to talk about going on to a serious topic of what's going on right now.
Yeah, but did you have something to say?
Yeah, so I'm going to be flying in a rocket soon.
Oh, gosh.
So you guys might be wondering, why is Josh in an astronaut suit? Well, I'm about to tell you. This is not an astronaut suit. Which side is it on? It's backwards. So this is called, what is it called?
A Tyvek
suit. So a Tyvek suit is something that you will see typically on big farm operations, whether that's at a big poultry operation, whether that's going to be at swine, any of those. Typically, they're probably going to make you sanitize all your clothes, be completely clean, and put you in one of these suits. Not just to make you look a little goofy, but there's a serious reason for it. What's that serious reason, Maddie?
Biosecurity.
And what's biosecurity mean?
Biosecurity is any practice that we can put in place to stop the spread of disease.
Yeah. So typically when you go farm to farm, from like your buddy's farm to someone else's farm, a lot of people are not wearing these Tyvek suits because odds are you're probably not going to transmit that much disease. And if you do, it's not going to impact a big scale of animals. But if you go to a poultry operation that's got thousands of birds, if you bring in one disease, it infects one specific poultry, your whole operation would probably have to cease. They might kill the whole operation. It could put it where the ODA has to come in and put down those birds. So it's very important whenever you go on to different farms and for farms to make you guys wear different types of Tyvek suits and a lot of other different types of gear.
Yeah. So you guys might be wondering, why are they talking about this today, right? Normally we come on the show and we do something fun. We do some sort of fun activity, which we are. I mean, we've got Josh all dressed up here. I think we're going to dress you up too.
I'm perfectly okay with that.
But it is really important, right? Our schools have closed for a couple of days, not just because of weather, but because of sickness recently. And so people flu is going around really bad right now. And so I think we kind of learned during even like the COVID pandemic some important biosecurity practices to practice between humans, right? We wash our hands, we cover our coughs, things like that. And so I think it's important that we also talk about biosecurity between people, but also between people to livestock and livestock to livestock as well, and animal to animal. And so a hot topic that's also being discussed right now in not just the agricultural community, but kind of across the globe is bird flu, or high path avian influenza. And so that's kind of what Josh and I are here to talk about, right? Yes. Because everybody has seen the price of their eggs increase, the price of their, chicken cutlets and things like that at the grocery store. And there's a reason for that, and it's called HPAI. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what farmers can do and what the general public can do to kind of help stop the spread of this disease, because we can all put in just a little bit of effort to make sure that HPAI isn't spreading across our own county and across our state. And then that will be everybody working together to bring our egg prices down and our chicken prices down as well.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook kind of talking about how it's all a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. This is something we've been dealing with multiple years. We had an outbreak back in 2022. Was it 2017 or somewhere back there? They actually didn't allow poultry to go to the fair. So it's not something that's just made up. pushing out, and this is something an off topic for this year. It's something that's happened. It's something that's going to probably continue to happen just because we can't control all disease. We can just try to suppress it. We're going to try to keep it as minimal as we can.
Yeah.
But
So, Josh is wearing a Tyvek suit, right? So, what else do you have here with you, Josh?
so we have our hard hat. If we ever get into a situation, we need to put a hard hat on. We can also pull this up. So we got to cover all my hair. Put my hard hat on. And this is where we're going to start dressing you up, Jade. So the first thing, would you like to put on a Tyvek suit? We have an
Yep.
extra one here.
Okay, yeah, I can do
So,
that.
like we said, our Tyvek suits, they're going to cover, going the wrong way. They're going to cover our bodies like this. They actually even cover our feet, putting it the wrong way. So I look like a little dairy cow over here moving around.
Oh my goodness.
But they're going to keep you from head to toe completely clean. So the only thing that's different is going to be our hands. So we have our hands free and we still have our face free. And the reason we have our head, for mainly other reasons, is to keep us from like having something hit our heads.
You guys should have not cut to me for that one. That was evil. I did not tell them to cut to me, guys. I
That's
was not
funny.
ready.
All right, so we have our Tyvek suit on. Typically, you won't see us be putting this on.
Oh, I don't
Just-
know if yours does yours have a hood?
I'm
Let me
I'm not
see.
sure.
Yeah, it does have a hood, I think.
No, I don't think hers does have
Oh.
a hood.
Well, we don't
Oh,
have a
gosh.
hood, so one thing we have to change is a hairnet. So we have a blue hairnet for you. And we want to make sure that we're covering the majority of our hair too, because the hair can actually hold some types of follicles, and they can get into it and they can cause some issues.
Yep.
So again, odds are it's probably not going to transmit something, but the odds are not zero. So whenever we're on those big operations, we want to make sure that
Close
we are
enough,
covering
guys.
up.
Close enough.
You're good.
Just
It's
pretend
fine.
it's fully covered.
Next thing, our hands are free, so we have to do our gloves. So there's a pair of gloves for you. I should have a pair down here, not those gloves.
Those will work, right?
These will
Oh,
work
two
too.
fingers went in the thumb.
Oh, geez.
Last time these were used was at the middle school. So
Oh.
hopefully there's not too many germs in them already.
Okay.
And now we still
doing?
have
Doing pretty good.
our face open. So we need to put on our mask.
Oh dear.
So we're going to revisit the COVID years, and we're going to put on our mask.
Okay.
Oh,
Got to go through the ear.
Gotta get it under there. Get it over your ears.
Put
Do
your
both of these go over? Or
That
do they
one's
go-
like, yeah, I think you gotta like,
Yeah, I think as long as one goes
as long
over,
as
you can
one,
get
you're
it.
fine for now. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I gave you that one. It's hard.
Okay.
Now I gotta get up close because I bet my voice is all muffly. Good podcasting voice.
Oh wow,
This is not the correct way to put it on.
you look great. You
So-
really do.
Thanks.
Now
Thanks
we
for
are
the
ready to go visit this big farm. Or if you want to freak out your friends, just your buddy's farm down the road. Or if you just want to freak everyone out, just go to Walmart like this and everybody will be
That might
giving
be a
you.
little scary. I feel like it's a
giving
little
you a little
scary
bit
on
of
the
eyes.
morning show to just look at me like this.
So why do you think that it's important that we dressed you up like this today, just to show?
So you don't get contaminated by all these diseases.
Yeah, right. So
You'll
we
have
tell
protection.
Oh yeah, Josh, what are those for?
We also have a couple other things. This is one that you actually will see probably on different types of farms. Is we've got this little plastic thing. What's it look like? It's a boot cover. So what you do is you put it over top of your boots, and whenever you go to a new farm, you want to put these on because of two options. Either you have dirty boots and you don't want to bring any disease to that farm, or you have clean boots and you don't want to go onto that farm and get any type of diseases on you.
Yep.
So you can put these on, and then once you go throughout the farm, you can take these off, and you can just throw these away once you take them off.
Or you can walk over what?
Or, and this is one you'll see, we do this at the research farm quite a bit. Anybody,
And at the fair.
and at the fair. Anyone that comes in, so we have one of these. Man, it's backwards. So what this is, it's a boot sanitizer. So what you would do, it's squishy. So they have sanitized solution that goes in it. So it fills up with that sanitized solution. And when you step on it, it starts to foam. So it'll foam up, go all over your boots, and it should disinfect any type of disease, any types of germs that are going to be on your boots. Other than that, I don't think we have anything else.
Yeah,
in
I
here.
think that's all of our little. So at like quality assurance trainings or other workshops and things that we do with like our kids in 4-H or even like with farmers, we talk about biosecurity and its importance. So this is a pretty extreme example. This is what we tell kids is pretty extreme, a pretty thorough process of preventing the spread of disease, right?
Yes.
What is quality assurance before we get too far?
Yeah, that's a good one. So quality assurance training is a training that you, all of our youth have to do if they want to exhibit at the fair. You know, your farmers have to do some sort of quality assurance training to produce food animals, right? So it's to improve the food animal production process and educate people that are producing food animals about good production practices is what we call them. So we have 10 good production practices that we teach, and they kind of range from handling animals properly to, proper medication, giving animals medication, just to like environmental stewardship and kind of everything in between. And so biosecurity is a really big topic that we talk about at quality assurance training. And so that's something that Ohio State University Extension teaches to like our 4-H FFA youth for fair exhibitions, as well as to farmers for food animal production. So you have to have a quality assurance training certificate to actually put that animal into food animal production. So at QA, we really teach biosecurity practices. That's one that we really hit hard because it is such an important topic, right? So at QA, we teach kids, like, this is a pretty extreme example. But if you do go on to some sort of commercial farm, right? Like if you're going into a large swine facility, a commercial bird processing facility, sometimes even dairy farms, because there are so many dairy cattle on that that facility, and they process milk. You might have to put on something like this, or at least do one or two of the steps that we kind of went with you today. So we kind of walk through the kids of what are some things on a smaller scale that we can do. Maybe if I'm visiting Josh's farm and Josh is going to visit my farm, or a lot of our 4-H clubs, their club advisors will take their kids to their farm to show them some of the things that they're doing, or things like that, right? So what can the kids do to kind of on a smaller scale prevent the spread of disease on their own farm? So what are some things you think they can do?
They can use gloves. I'm not as good as a 4-H student as everybody else, but they could take precautions. They can use hairnets so that they don't transfer any stuff like that. They can use hand sanitizer and stuff. They can cover their boots, and they can cover their mouths if they cough, so they don't transfer any diseases from themselves personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other things, Josh?
No, the biggest one I always just say is washing hands, washing hands, washing hands, especially if you're messing with any type of poultry. After you touch one chicken, make sure you wash hands before you touch a different chicken, because you can transmit disease. And even if you're not touching another chicken, make sure you just keep washing your hands after you touch them, just because you don't want to transmit anything to you, and you don't want to cause any issues there.
So speaking of washing hands and maybe even other things, right? Can you get me my bowl and my brush out of there? All right. So this is a feed bowl, right? And so this is pretty standard, right? What you might feed even like your dog out of like at your house, or maybe your hog or something like that, right? What do you think's in this food bowl? You see?
A lot of dirt, bacteria.
Yeah, like what is that? So that could be like food residue. This could be, like dirt and different things like that. So the other thing that we teach kids about biosecurity, or teach farmers about biosecurity, is sanitation and sanitation practices. So if this is a food bowl that I continuously feed my animal in, right, this could be like food residue, like the little powdery stuff, at the bottom of the food bag, right? This could be medication.
Yeah.
Some foods are medicated, or sometimes we give our animals medication in their feed. And so we can only give, just like people, right? We take an antibiotic for a week.
Yeah.
And then we don't take that antibiotic anymore, right? But if we have a residue in there, they're taking that antibiotic for longer, right? And then it's making that less effective.
Yeah.
It could also be dirt and dust and manure or other things that sometimes get into, in pens and on feeders and stuff. So we talked to the kids about the importance of sanitizing these things. So you should probably wash this pretty often, right? Especially after giving a medication or something of this sort.
And it doesn't even have to go to as far as medication. If you've got sheep and you've got goats, goats really love the mineral copper. Copper is really good for goats. They really love it. But the issue with copper for sheep is small amounts of copper can kill a sheep really quick. So if you're feeding feed out of that bowl for a goat, and for some reason that feed has high copper into it, and then you go and you feed it to a sheep, there's a chance your sheep might die because they're highly allergic to it.
So we talked to the kids about this and explained the importance of it, and we will actually have them wash this bowl right then and there at the table. We'll normally have a bucket of soapy water or something. And we ask them to really wash it really good and see how much of this residue they can get out of this bowl, okay? And then afterwards, we show them what is left, right? So I want you to kind of take a look at these two items here.
Before we do that, we actually missed our first ad break, so we're going to go ahead and cut to a break, and then we'll be right back.
Go for it. Okay.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern Rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
Welcome back, everyone. And we are still in our astronaut suits. So as we were saying about this.
Yeah, so during that brief intermission, right, you washed your bowl. You washed your little brush that we have here too, right? So I want you to take this. This is a black light. And what do black lights also kind of show us sometimes?
They show us things that aren't normally being able to see that you see regularly.
Right. So shine that into our bowl here, and what can you see?
We can see all that.
You can see it's on there.
Yeah.
All that residue.
All
just
that
left in there.
residue. Like shine that on like the wall of the bowl on this side, or the other side, I guess, this side. Yeah. Do you see all that, guys? Like just really interesting stuff that you wouldn't be able to see when you take away the black light. You can kind of see it a little bit because we put a lot on there.
Yeah.
But there are some stuff that's kind of showing up.
Yeah.
Only with the black light.
Yeah.
So same thing with our brush here too, right? Let's show our brush. So this is a brush that we use to maybe groom our animals. And kind of we brush them with it every day. Maybe we groom multiple animals with the same brush. So it's important to kind of sanitize these things too. There's also germs on the handle. Do you see any on the handle? Oh, yeah. So if we're holding that brush and brushing our animal, right, and then we set that brush down and go and do something else, where do those germs then go?
Those germs go to, transfer to our hands, and not only our hands, but anything we set it down here.
Right. So then let's look at our hands here. Can you guys see? You probably not see very well. But are there germs on our hands? Yeah.
Yes, there's germs on our hands.
Absolutely, there's germs on our hands. So this is also what we do with kids. So I'll put a bunch of this. This is called Glow Germ. You can buy it online, but I will put a bunch of this stuff on my hand because you can't see it, right? And then as kids come into QA, I'll pat them on the back, or I'll give them a hug, or I'll shake their hand, or I might just touch them a little bit. And then once we get into this activity, we'll show, hey, I had dirty hands and I just touched all of you, right? And now you have my germs.
Yeah.
So that's pretty applicable with human flu that's going around right now too, right? So kids in schools, maybe you're home on a sick day right now. What are things that we can do to prevent the spread of the flu, right? Yeah. So same thing with food animal diseases, such as the bird flu, such as swine flu, different things that we're seeing among animals as well.
So you're doing quality assurance a little bit different this year. You want to explain what you're doing different about quality assurance?
Sure, yeah. So for those, maybe you're a 4-H'er or an FFA member or a volunteer that's watching right now, quality assurance training, we're trying something new a little bit this year. We're going to do sort of like an all-day training. So you can show up anytime between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., and every 15 minutes, we will start groups through stations. And so it takes about an hour for the kids to get through all the stations and complete their quality assurance training. But it's a lot better than just kind of picking one night where you have to come for an hour or two. There's ball games, there's stuff always going on. So this kind of all-day model, you can come and try and get your QA knocked out. And then there's not like a limit or anything like that of the amount of kids that can come. You can kind of come anytime between that 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. time slot, get your QA done. But yeah, so I mean, they'll learn all kinds of stuff like this. This year we're focusing really heavily on safe handling of your animals, safety on the farm, and then that environmental stewardship as well. But yeah, good thing, Josh. Any other things you want to talk about?
Yeah, anything else you guys want to talk about before we head out?
Yeah, before we head out, I sent a couple flyers. Say we've actually got some exciting programs coming up. We've got a raspberry production. It's raspberry and blackberry production. It's going to be coming up here in the next couple weeks. So before you go out and buy new stock, make sure that you go ahead and come on out. We've got Ryan Slaughter from Ross County. He used to work at the Piketon South Centers and did a lot of research with blackberry and raspberry. So he's an expert on those situations. We also have a rain barrel workshop. So looking more into April. So this one's a little bit away, but we're partnering with Soil and Water and the Jackson County Library. They have a program where they do a rain barrel workshop where you come. It does have a $55 cost to it, but by the end of the program, you'll leave with your own rain barrel and then the supplies that you'll need to connect it. And then we also have got a Hunter's Ed that's on the books for spring. So we have a spring Hunter's Ed that's going to be coming up here on March 22nd and 23rd. We've partnered with the Jackson Bow Hunters, so it's going to be out at their facility. And then registration hasn't opened yet for that. It'll open up here February 20th. The Division of Wildlife always likes to give a month before they open the registration. So we've got a lot of exciting things coming up for agriculture and natural resources.
Yeah, and then on the 4-H end, just plugging my open house once more. That's my biggest event kind of before the 4-H season really rolls around. So again, the 4-H open house is going to be on March 6th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. At that event also, we have partnered with Goodwill of Southeastern Ohio. And so they're really promoting some of our environment and sustainability 4-H projects and programs that we do. And so they're actually going to have a donation drive at that event in March. Yeah. So I think I sent a flyer for that too. But you can bring, if you're coming to the open house, bring your items that you're willing to donate. They also told me that a lot of people didn't know that they take tech, like retired tech, like phones and computers and stuff. So yeah, head on out to the open house. Goodwill of Southeastern Ohio is going to be doing a kind of stock the trailer. They have like this little trailer that they bring with them that you can do your donations at. And then our junior fair board also is doing their own, it's called Stock the Trailer as well, for canned and non-perishable food items. And so they do this all the way, from now all the way up through the fair. They're collecting food items. And so the county, it's a challenge between county fairs, and the county fair that collects the most non-perishable food items actually wins a cash prize.
Oh, wow.
And then the kids get to take that cash prize and kind of put it towards that event again the following year. So last year we collected 350 pounds of food. I think the winning county collected well over 10,000 pounds of food.
That's amazing.
So yeah, we were nowhere near close to winning, but the kids really enjoyed it and learned a lot. So if you want to support our junior fair board in that, and all of that food goes to support people in need here locally. So last year, the Junior Fair Board kids loaded that 350 pounds of food up in their carts. They took it to local blessing boxes and food banks and churches, and just kind of filled up our community with that need. So you can drop off food donations or Goodwill donations at the open house to the trailers, or you can bring them to the extension office, and we'll make sure that they get to those kids as well.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for coming here today. It was really fun dressing like an astronaut with y'all. And it was really informative, and I actually learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know.
Awesome.
So that was really helpful for me and everybody watching. So I want to thank you guys for coming.
Of
and I hope
course.
you guys have a great rest of your
If
day.
anybody ever has any questions, they certainly can reach out to us.
Yes.
At the Jackson County OSU Extension, we have a Facebook page. You can call us at 740-286-5044, or email Josh and I. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having us.
And we will be right back with News with Pete. Thank you.
This Valentine's Day, join us for a special Table for Two on Main Street TV. Karma and Mark are our featured couple, and host Tanya Hatton will be cooking them a delicious dinner live on set. It's a heartfelt celebration filled with love, great conversations, and a meal made with care. Don't miss the one-of-a-kind experience only on Main Street TV, February 14th. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Main Street TV and watching our weather report. I'm here to give you the weather, and on Wednesday, February 11th, we will have a 100% chance of snow, and 42 high and 42 low. And then on Tuesday, right over there, we will have 50% chance of rain, 40 high and 17 in the low. And then on Friday, February 13th, we'll have 40% chance of snow, 37 high and 31 low. Thank you for tuning in, and back to the show.
A lot of information there. But anyway, I'm going to start with the weather because, boy, that is top of the mind right now.
Definitely.
And, the worst is over. That's the good
thank goodness.
That is the good news. The temperatures are going to slowly crawl up to where they'll be above freezing. They're just about freezing or a little bit above now. We will get a little rain later on, which might not be too bad to wash away some of the ice and the snow. But in case you didn't know, because I know that, Main Street TV went on the air live about 9 o'clock, just before 9 o'clock, Jackson County Sheriff Ted Frazier and Vinton County Sheriff Ryan Kane both downgraded the level snow advisories in their respective counties from level 2 to level 1.
That's good.
That is important because level 2 doesn't really tell you that you can't go out. It just says you shouldn't go out unless you absolutely have to. And level 1 is more like, there's going to be slick spots, icy spots, and whatever, so be careful out there. So as a result of the level 2 snow advisories, by the way, officially, according to the weather information that I looked up, we had just less than 4 inches of snow here in the Jackson area. And of course, it did snow most of the day, and it kept coming into the evening. And overnight, I know that there were some spots where there was icing, which made things bad. The wetness and the wet snow iced. My car was iced this morning, and I know there were slick spots on some roads. And I'm sure in the more remote areas and less traveled roads, it's probably still pretty hazardous in places. But because of the level 2 snow advisories, if you're not hooked up with the schools or whatever, you're wondering what's going on there. Most of them were going to do a 2-hour delay this morning. They decided that last night because they knew, it's still kind of a recovery period and all with the snow. But because the level 2 snow advisories, partially at least because the level 2 snow advisories will still in effect, the schools one by one all canceled today.
Oh, wow.
So Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, Vinton County, CLA, the Buckeye Hills High School part, all canceled today. They are not in class. Now, to throw on top of that, though, I do want to make clear that the adult education part of Buckeye Hills was operating on a 2-hour delay. The University of Rio Grande, just down the road, 2-hour delay. The branch campuses in MacArthur, Jackson, Meigs County, Pike County, they're on a 2-hour delay. If you have business at the courthouse, you can do it. You just have to wait till 10 o'clock. or maybe 10:30.
Okay.
The courthouses in both Jackson County and Vinton County are on a 2-hour delay, which is right now still in effect. It will end. It will certainly end by about 10 o'clock or a little after.
Okay.
And that was triggered by the level 2. That's so there's not confusion. If there's level 2, they're going to be on that 2-hour delay. If it's level 3, they're going to be closed. Also, all the Head Start programs, lots of kids and families involved in that in Jackson and Vinton counties. All of them are closed as well today. One other announcement that we had in that we'll pass along: the Oak Hill Public Library let us know that they will be closed this morning, but open at noon.
Okay.
And some of the other places, that you might want to go today or have business at, you might want to check. I imagine that most of them will be open or will be opening. But if you have to do any traveling and it's just one place you want to go, you might want to call or check ahead of time and see if they're open and when they're going to open. All right, we will. As far as we know, tournament basketball games tonight. There are 2 tournament basketball games involving our local teams. Jackson girls are at Warren Local, and the Vinton County girls are at South Point. Those games are scheduled for 7 o'clock tonight. We'll be broadcasting them. Total Media will. As of right now, we do not know that they have been canceled. All right, so we'll assume they're on. Those decisions maybe have not been made yet. Perhaps they will be postponed. Tournament games have to be played, so if they don't play, they'll just schedule another night, maybe even tomorrow night. But as of right now, for what we know, those games are still on. But keep connected with the Telegram Facebook page, the Telegram website, and the radio station for the news for updates on what's open and what's not, what's going on, and what is going to happen later. Jeremiah Shaver is doing a great job keeping up with that on the newspaper side. As a matter of fact, if you go to our website, thetelegramnews.com, and our Facebook page, you will see a current list of the closures, what is closed, what is delayed, etc. Okay, we will go to some news that is not the weather, because we have some of that too. A lot of people were disappointed when we learned earlier in the week. It's kind of like it's been a yo-yo in limbo situation, but the Big Lots store in Jackson apparently is going to close.
Yes.
Now, they have advertised all the Big Lots. There's our local Big Lots, and they got that big banner across the sign, or right under the sign, closing. But it wasn't a slam dunk that they were going to close. Big Lots went into bankruptcy. There was a bankruptcy liquidation asset firm out of Boston named Gordon Brothers that kind of helped them through bankruptcy and also made available some of those stores to another potential buyer or operator. Variety Wholesalers out of North Carolina is going to operate some Big Lots stores, and there's a bunch of them, about 900 some across the nation, including, of course, this one here in Jackson. And even though they were all advertised as closing, it was also said that as many as 200 or more could be saved. It was just which ones and when would that announcement be made. Well, an initial list came out last week, towards the end of the week, and it listed the 200 stores that had a chance to remain open or would remain open, and Jackson was not on that list, unfortunately. So that store at 570 East Main Street in the Jackson Square Shopping Center, it's open for now. Ever since the announcement was made that Big Lots, was closing, that the chain was folding, they've had liquidation sales, clearance sales, and they're still going on. It's up to, 20 to 50% off. Now, everybody wants to know, when is the store going to close for good? Well, they don't know that. It may be a local decision. It may be when they get to a certain point when most of the inventory has been sold. But for right now, the store remains open. But unless something changes that we don't know about yet, unfortunately, the Big Lots store, which I know had a loyal following here in Jackson, will be closing. The stores in Gallipolis, Wheelersburg, South Point, and Marietta, all in our area, they will have Big Lots stores that could or should remain open according to the information we have. So if you're a real Big Lots fan, you have to travel a little bit if you're from Jackson or Vinton counties. In addition to Jackson, the Circleville and Portsmouth Big Lot stores, they will be closing as well. All right, a couple other things to tell you about, Jade. We want to tell you, we were talking about our website for information. Another place that you can get information is the new website from the Vinton County Department of Tourism. It's called Discover Vinton County. If you punch that in, you'll get this website. And Amanda Boring is the tourism director in Vinton County, and they are making a big push to promote tourism in various ways, and one of them is this website that she has come up with. She is a marketing journalism Spanish major from West Virginia University, just graduated here about less than a year ago. She's a Vinton County native. She came back to her hometown, Vinton County. She lives, I think, on the western end of the county, to be the marketing director for the Department of Tourism, and she is doing a well of a job. Check out this website. It's called Discover Vinton County. This is a picture from their last Department of Tourism meeting where she is reporting to other board members about how popular the website is. But just to give you a few numbers real quickly, she reported at this meeting, which was just last week, that there's been a 120% increase in site visits in the last 30 days. And the most popular page is one called the Stay page. That lists all the lodging places in Vinton County. Most of the places are small. They have a lot of cabins. They don't have a big hotel or anything like that. There is a resort called Ravenwood Castle that's on the north end of the county that attracts people from all over. But they get a lot of people who want to come to Vinton County for the scenery. Of course, the Hocking Hills, I know you've heard of that. It's the most popular tourist attraction in Jackson County, that state park there. It neighbors Vinton County, and so Vinton County gets a lot of people coming because there's a lot of scenery there too. Lake Hope, for instance, Lake Hope State Park, very popular, 1 million visitors a year. Well, Vinton County is trying to increase business in Vinton County and also bring in money to the government through something called the lodging tax. When you stay at one of these cabins or the Ravenwood Castle or whatever, you pay a special fee called a lodging tax that gets tacked onto the regular bill. That money then is used by Amanda Boring and the Department of Tourism to promote tourism and make more people outside of Vinton County aware of what's going on and what's here. So, there's the Zaleski State Forest there, as well as Lake Hope State Park. There's the famous Moonville Tunnel. Have you heard of the Moonville Tunnel? It's right up there on the northern end of the county. Reputedly haunted railroad tunnel draws thousands of people every year. So if you haven't checked out Discover Vinton County website, please do that. We had a story in our Wednesday paper on that. We also want to report, this is state news, but it affects us because these people serve Jackson County and Vinton County too. Governor Mike DeWine recently announced just this past Monday that Jim Tressel was going to be the lieutenant governor. That is pending approval from the legislature, which I think he'll get. That's Governor DeWine on the right. That's Jim Tressel on the left. A lot of people know who Jim Tressel is, not because of government, because of football. Jim Tressel was a very successful coach for the Ohio State football Buckeyes more than 10 years ago. After he left coaching, he became active in education. He was the job he had the longest was president of Youngstown State University. He has been tapped, kind of a little bit of a surprise, but I think a lot of people think it's a good choice. Mike DeWine picked him to be his lieutenant governor for the remainder of Mr. DeWine's term, which runs through 2026. Once again, as I said, Mr. Tressel has to be confirmed or affirmed or approved by the Ohio General Assembly, which is the Ohio House and the Ohio Senate, but I'm guessing that will probably happen. So a couple other things to tell you real quick. This is another weather-related thing. The Jackson County Fair Board did not meet last night because they were worried about that icing on the roads.
Yes, completely understandable.
Right, exactly. They're going to meet tonight instead at 6:30 at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. That's a public meeting, if you are interested. Also, Vinton County Emergency Management Agency Director Bill Fott let us know that the hazard mitigation meeting, which is very important for the emergency responders and law enforcement in Vinton County, they were not able to have their meeting yesterday. They have rescheduled that, he reports, for Thursday, March the 6th at 10 a.m., and it will be at the MacArthur Fire Department. So let's see, we're just about running out of time, but I'll tell you one more thing. The Buckeye Hills Career Center is going to have an adult education open house tomorrow. That is still on. That will be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Buckeye Hills Career Center, which you know, of course, is on Buckeye Hills Road, very near Rio Grande. And there, you know, everybody thinks of Buckeye Hills and the vocational school for high school students, but they also have an adult education department as well. And the open house on Thursday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. is an excellent opportunity to learn about what they offer, how to enroll, how to get financial aid, et cetera, et cetera. So that is tomorrow. Also, wanted to, I mentioned it earlier, but as far as we know, the 2 tournament games involving Jackson County girls basketball teams, or actually one Jackson County, one Vinton County, is still on as far as we know. 7 p.m. broadcast time on WKOV 96.7 FM. And on the app, of course, Jackson at Warren Local, girls basketball tonight, 7 p.m. Also tonight, 7 p.m., Vinton County at South Point. So these games are off. Those places are more than an hour away, so you don't want to drive. Tune into the radio. The Vinton County broadcast can be heard on WYRO 98.7 FM. And if you ask about Wellston and Oak Hill, what about their games? They're playing tournament games tomorrow night, and we'll maybe say more about that tomorrow.
Okay.
So there you are.
Okay. Well, thank you, Pete, for coming in and telling us the news. And
We're glad to do that.
yes, and thank you to Josh and Maddie for coming in and making me look like an astronaut and a Ghostbuster. And I hope you guys have an amazing morning and an amazing rest of your day. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, and be careful out there.
Yes.